Hello, my little bricklings. JSbricks here, and welcome into my review of set number 76126, Avengers Ultimate Quinjet. This set costs $80, €80 and £75. For some reason, I have to pay less because I'm not American or European, which makes no sense. Why do us Brits have to pay less? I'm confused how money works. Somebody let me know down there in the comments. Instead of bullying me, why don't you guys tell me how money work? Yeah, explain how money work. Set comes with 6 minifigures and 838 pieces, almost all of which go into this build. However, there are a few pieces that for the Chitterai. We're gonna call them Chitterai. Chitterai. The creepy little alien dudes. About 4 pieces go into their weapons, 5 into 4s, and 5 into rockets. No, 4 into rockets. So, it's a pretty big build, actually. There's my hand on top of it. Massive. Bloody massive. But, with this intro out of the way, I do want to clarify something. I know I said I wasn't going to record before, New Year because I had 8 sets. That's 8 months of content. Turns out I got 9 sets, not 8. So, with that 9th set floating around, I figured we'll keep it at 8 months content and just record this now because I'm getting giddy. I got new lights. Got to myself recording studio and a beautiful mic so I can do this whenever you lot beat me off. Doesn't matter, just sting your ears. But, with my Satanism out of the way, let's get into the review. And I think, just maybe, we should start with the minifigures. And here are the... what's going on with this torso? There we go. Only professionalism on my channel, let that be known. Starting with the villains from the first Avengers movie. Unfortunately, they are the best figures in the set. They're the most interesting. Should highlight, actually, we do get 2 of them completely identical in this set. So, I'm only going to look at one of them. But, yeah. It's kind of tragic because these are the best figures in the set. But moving them out of the way so we can get to that in a minute. He's got this gun. It's a pretty big gun, you might say. It seems ever so slightly oversized. It's like literally the size of his body. However, it is I definitely like the build. You can see you've got the pearl gold claw piece here to go over the top, which I don't know why, but I really do like that. Purple cone piece at the end, and some pearl gold things here. You could say there are stocks on that. What I like the most about this build, though, is it brings back that old ray gun piece, which I haven't seen in a lot of modernist or like more modern sets that I've got recently. So it's nice to see it back and used in a very interesting way. Now, throwing that out the window, quite literally, we will move on to the Chitterai. Creepy alien, guys. Let me know down below how badly I butchered his name. This is a good... Sorry. His or hers. It's 2020. You can't say that. This is a... Move back over here. It's an amazing figure. Honestly, I generally love this figure. Legs nothing too interesting. They are just that light grey colour that we always get with, grey. In fact, the entire figure is light grey, except for the dark grey hands. But the figure itself adds so much gorgeousness to it. Starting with the back, which itself normally has the least good printing, but I like it. We have some dark grey lines here, which may represent, the skin or where the skin's been moved, implying that the dark grey is actually his flesh. And then we've got a silver here for the belt. And then it comes up all the way up, and we get some armor plating here with some pretty nice lines that give it a nice shape. And we'll get the head in a minute because the head is honestly just perfect for me. Moving on to the chest. Same thing. You see the silver belt continues along with a spark of gold in there, which is beautiful. I'm not sure why, but it appears to be darker in some lightings on the chest. Oh, look at that, I can make things go blurry. There is some black printing here this time. Maybe that's the flesh, with some grey lining in there. Then you got the torso, comes down like that, with the silver. And again, that silver, like, diamond shape, that's some really good printing, especially when you see, like, you've got little lines just here to add more texture to it, some dark black lines to add texture to the grey, and 4 strategically placed blue dots. Which I just like the placing of those blue dots, honestly. Moving on to the face. The face is so ugly. So ugly. But I can't help but love it because it's meant to be ugly. Just look at that. I don't want to wake up with that next to me. No way, thank you. Take it. And it's just a gorgeous looking face. Starters, the mouth. Oh, sorry, Mike. The mouth is gorgeously printed with, like, I guess they're the teeth in, like, grey in its mouth there, and then they just have black rungs to go underneath to show, like, maybe where the gum should be, but the mouth is so wide, and then this nice light green eyes, kind of making me want some Ben 10 Lego sets up in here. Dark grey cheekbones, and then the crown with the gold going on the sides here, with a slightly bronzer colour to add more riveting to it. And that goes across the crown. Unfortunately, no side head printing. That is a real tragedy in my opinion. Like, it is such a shame there's no side head printing, because it would have been so easy for them to do, but the back printing more than makes up for it, with that bronze coming back and like a dark orange. And all round, honestly, this figure is truly gorgeous. And unfortunately, that's the only figure that's going to be getting the gorgeous mark from me. And let's just begin with some wasted potential in Clint Barton's Hawkeye. Now, Lego has never been the type of people to accurately do scenes. They always add figures in or change suits. So this would be a perfectly good opportunity to give us Ronan. To give us a Lego Ronan figure. Not only, you can say it wouldn't work because he's not accurate to the scene, but I don't remember them time traveling in a bloody quinjet. And the box shows them at the Avengers base, so maybe it's the final battle, but yeah, none of it's accurate. But instead we get the, like, timey-wimey travel suit, which isn't bad, and I'll get to why I like this suit in a minute, but it's used for every figure: Ant-Man, War Machine, Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, Black Widow, Hulk, Rickett Raccoon. The only character I remember from this wave of figures that doesn't have it is Rescue, but that's an ugly figure. Now, before I continue with this suit, we're going to get rid of his bow. Disappointing, we got the older bow back. Would have been nice to get the newer bow they introduced with the polybag version of him, which had the rivets on it, the more, I guess you'll call it a tactical bow. And then, I'm just going to remove his quiver. It is unfortunate that we don't get dual printed, dual molded quivers. And even more unfortunate they haven't changed the mold for quivers. Yeah, that is unfortunate. Now, putting back the head of Hawkeye, if I can stick his damned hair back on. Worth noting, I don't know why, but Hawkeye's hair has just, like, kind of subtly become like this, and I really think this is, first of all, I want to say that's the wrong hairpiece to use for Hawkeye at this scene. And if you look at a lot of custom minifigures that people are making, they're using Kai's hairpiece from Ninjago, and I think it works for Hawkeye at this stage in his like character development. That, or you could have gone with the Mr. T Mohawk piece. Both of those would be 10 times more accurate than that hair. They would also be 10 times more accurate than this head, because that does not look like the actor in the slightest. No offense to Lego, and no offense to the actor, but the actor that plays Hawkeye is much older than this. So this face, it just feels too young for me. Also, as you can see, there's misprinting on his eyes, where the white comes out of his eyes a bit. Yeah, I don't like that misprinting, but I still think it's a pretty inaccurate head. On the other side, he has an angrier head where he looks way too young. Wait, that face right there is way too young for Hawkeye, in my opinion. And I just don't think that this figure works too well. And you'll see the same problem later with Black Widow. But, zooming out, whoa, maybe not that far. Okay, nope, that far works. We can get, oh, sorry, I've got headphones in. So wherever my head go, phone doth to go. Moving on to this figure, it's a nice torso print. You've got white arms, well, just a white background, but like, taking a look at the back. Let's zoom into that back and take a look at what we got. Black dots for some greebling, silverish black, lines, detailed, dark grey stripe here to maybe symbolize a bit of the back. More of that red worked in with some silver lines to show how it's held together in like a cross section. Riveting, like sort of spine going down there. And then all these mini hexagons. That's wonderful. Bringing it around to the front. Avengers logo in black. More of that dark grey and red that leaks through with some lighting this time. More of those hexagon pieces have returned. And again, silver going down with some red. And that leg printing really gives it a nice, smooth sort of one-piece feel. How it comes down like that. And wraps up the dark grey hexagonal printing coming right down as well, that mesh. And then we've got like some dots on the lines. And then even red dots on the feet with some leg printing. Toe printing. The body is amazing. It's just used for every goddamn stupid ass figure in this wave. And I don't know why, but that just, it devalues the figures. Because you give us the same torso for every figure. Like, even the bloody Hulk had this torso. And that happened with most of the sets in this wave. And I feel like, not only is this a missed opportunity, not only could they have given us Ronan, but they went with the exact same body, and so the figure's just redundant, and it kind of takes away the specialty of this suit, when it's just, rehashed for every single figure. Now the next inaccurate figure is Black Widow. Now, before I get into this figure, I first wanted this armor. She's got these blue sort of see-through bits here, maybe to represent some extremistics. Pretty nice, that's fine. Got no issue there. The figure, on the other hand, I do have some issues with. For starters, not even going to get into the torso. I talked about it with Hawkeye. There's a quick 360 of it. It's decent. The face, that doesn't look like the actor playing Black Widow. I don't know why, but she seems older than she should at this stage. And something about that face just doesn't seem right to me. And even the alternate expression seems too old or too out there for Black Widow. I don't know, now she seems not too old, but now she seems too young. And again, I feel like this is a problem a lot of LEGO figures have, except for Chris Hemsworth's 4. He's fine. But, you just get that feeling. And the hair, no. And once again, the hair is just wrong, honestly. Like, in the movie, she has braided white and... Is it braided white and red in it? Yeah, braided red hair, and I think there's a stroke of white in there. Or that, or my memory is really bad. And I don't think this hairpiece is right. I think they should have gone for a longer hairpiece, or even gone for, like, a more braided, like, maybe invent a new hairpiece that's braided. It would have brought up the set's price, but it would have been way more accurate. And once again, a missed opportunity to do Black Widow's Endgame suit. You could have done Black Widow's Endgame suit and given her a new hairpiece, plus given us our first and only Ronan figure, bumped up this set's price by $10, £10, and everyone would be happy. You might even get this set to be a top tier set. But nope, You had to do this. Next up is Rickett Raccoon. And another easily savable but disappointing figure. Give us Rickett Raccoon's endgame suit, but this figure could have been saved. Okay, and this is going to sound weird. If they had carried on the printing onto the half legs. Now, as much as I hate the suit printing because it's identical to the rest of the figures, if they had carried... Oh, no. If they had carried on the leg printing that the rest of the figures have, but onto Rocket, I would not be angry. I would actually think this figure would be improvement. His gun is nothing special. Rickett Raccoon's had better guns in a lot of other sets, but here's a quick look at this one. Just a blaster piece, a lightsaber handle, a clip and a stud. Nothing special there. He does have this tailpiece, which you clip in between the legs there, and it's up like that. Pity they didn't dual mode it. His tail is a bit white towards the end. And then he's got this nice gunmetal grey neck collar, which connects to his head mould, which he has a pretty decent smirky grin, which seems just a bit too cartoony for my liking, but nevertheless. Some brown rims around his black eyes, grey fur, brown all the way around. And here's something I find interesting, right? Rickett Raccoon is brown, not grey. On the box art and in the movie, he's brown, not grey. So why the hell is he grey here? I feel like there's some missing concept art that I haven't seen that's out there somewhere that explains why he's grey in a lot of LEGO sets. But then looking back, I've seen brown versions of him in some of the older sets, so this just makes no sense to me on a genuine level. And I have no idea where they got this figure from. But other than that, though, it is a pretty nice head print, and for those that don't know, it does just... Okay, it's clipped on pretty well. Bugger. Okay, well, I'm not going to even try to get that off, because I'm going to pull him apart too quickly. But it does just connect onto the regular minifigure head. Now, let's move on to... the neck piece. Let's move on to Ferg. And here is the man whose theme song introduced me to Led Zeppelin. Now, before I get into him, I want to say, what the hell is this? I will always have an issue with this build. In the movie, Stormbreaker is a lot bigger than this. And this just feels so silly looking. But it's got a twig piece up here, connected to the lightsaber piece, clip, thing, and axe. Decent little build, but kind of looks stupid. Blah, 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 blah. Normal body. He's got light brown hair, which I feel should be shorter for Endgame. I feel like it should be just that tiny bit shorter for Endgame. But then again, I don't know how they would achieve that without inventing a new hairpiece, or maybe getting the wrong hairpiece that could be worse than this. So, I guess that's fine. Okay. And taking off that. Camera. Focus. You can see a wannabe Obi-Wan Kenobi with a gorgeous beard, a bit of an odd mouth printing the more I look at it, decent enough eyebrow printing, and slightly odd eye printing, but hey, it looks like Chris Hemsworth, which is better than the rest of the Avengers in this set, right? And here we've got his angry face with lightning eyes, because if the lightning starts shooting out of your eyes, kid, that's okay. Looks angry, and I like the way the hair has reacted, like his mustache kind of lips up with his mouth. Again, though, it is just unfortunate that they missed an opportunity to give us his Endgame suit, which looks just that bit more different than his Infinity War suit. But with the garbage out of the way, let's get on to the quinjet. Here in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, is the quinjet. And before I begin, I really want to talk about just the shape of this thing. Like, picking it up from the back here, look at the side of that. In fact, going to correct my tripod a bit and move one of my lights out of my way so I can get my hands in here fully and hold it like that. Look at the side view of that. That is the side view of a quinjet. And that's what I like about this set, is it looks like what it's trying to be. That's the side view of a quinjet. There's the front of the quinjet. That's the shadow of the quinjet. And that is something not many sets achieve to same degree as this, where you can look at it and go, quinjet. Now, to begin, I think we're going to start with the stupidity. You know what? No, we'll save that till last because I want to get some of the good stuff out of the way. There's 2 stud shooters up front, which I still hate and I still think take away from the silhouette of the build. We'll fire those like that. They do fire, in this set for some reason, gunmetal grey. Interesting. Now there's a lot of interesting side building here, especially in regards to here, where they've got these side pieces like that. That's a pretty interesting build, and especially when you look at the build of the set overall with like the corner pieces coming through, and then the thicker pieces back here and the underside. It's a pretty decently built set that is mostly solid. And yeah, it's got some interesting building techniques used. The front of the build here, as you can see, it's got a pretty nice nose to it. That was built pretty interestingly. Opening up this front bit here, it's a nice orange visor. See, we've got a tan seat and what appears to be the quinjet on a computer. The set shows Black Widow in there, so we're going to take back our Scarlett Johansson figure, because I think that's who plays her in the movies, I can't quite remember, and pop her in there. It's a pretty snug fit, and there's at least like a stud of room back here, but we'll get to why that's important in a minute. Well, not important, but just nice. Looking at the wings with them all head on, the wings are by far the most impressive thing I've ever seen. Like, look at them. They are not thick, but they are a few tiles thick. And you've got these angles and these different like shapes to them, which are, it's just a really, if you ever buy the set, which I recommend you do, the wings are some of the best building parts of the set because of how just integrated they are, and they're built in there pretty solidly. Now, unfortunately, there are 2 stickers. Now, they continue on the black print. This is another thing I love, is the black on this set. You've got it up front here for the nose, and it comes across. And then you've got it here on the wings, but again, nice angling. But then they bring it down here with some rivets on here to add to that. Now, we've got A6 here. That might be a reference to comics, might not be, I don't know. Some more riveting, and the Avengers logo. Just in case you didn't know it was an Avengers vehicle. Now, the wings do have these sort of, I guess you could say they move. You can lift them up like that, down like that. It's not really that big of a deal. I personally keep them up like that. On the sides, there are these other ones, which you can move. They're on ball joints. I don't know why you would want to move these. That's a mystery to me. Maybe it's because they're landing. Speaking of landing, no landing gear on this quinjet, which I find interesting because it's definitely one of the best quinjets they've ever put out. Moving around to the back, silver along here. This was an interesting build, and again you can see how that connects. It's pretty interesting, including into here where they've got this piece to give some shaping on top. They use a orange, I don't know what you call that piece. It's like an orange satellite dish. There we go. Under there, for some spinny feature. And again, orange is a nice side colour. Like, talking about coloration, orange is a nice accent for the blue, black and grey. In my opinion, I think that colour scheme just comes off really well. Bringing it up to the top, you've got this next to a nice piece here, in blue. A bit of a window there. That's interesting. Oh, and the door is not closing. Oh, there we go. Moving on to the engines, I think I'll just pop one off to show you it. And also, again, you can see how that's all put together. Now, taking a look at the engine, here you can see it. It has the Avengers logo here, which is mirrored on the other side. A nice and kind of just gorgeous build for the engine back here. And then another fin there, another sticker there. Ugh. And then this I love. So it's pretty clear how they panelled these up. But using the Nexonite shields in orange and layering them up in that looks so nice. Maybe not so from the front, but from the sides and the top, that is gorgeous. And you just clip it in here with the connection of some tiles, and even look at that. You get a great piece there. And on the set, they show them angled down like that, which I think works. I think that's probably the most appropriate way to do it. And you do see how it comes down nicely in a sliding formation, which really just, as I say, it looks good. But again, I would consider that a play feature. I don't know why, but I'm calling that a play feature. Also, more of the silver tiles here. These silver great pieces. Now this, but actually before we get to that, I think we should get to the crap. Pretty decent back with the silver here, and interesting, I guess. I was going to say drawbridge, like ramp where they did some tiling and some silver there. You can see it seals up nicely on top, but there is a gap, like a huge gap on the bottom, which is present even when you open it. That's tragic. Now you are thinking, why open it? Because, like the Avengers truck for the Avengers game, which came out this year, 2020, there is a Gatling gun in here, which swings out like that. Pop it up there, and you can reclose it. Unfortunately, closing it again, you still get that nasty gap, but I think it's a decent enough play feature. It can still move back like that, I guess, and do a 360. It is a pretty nice build, using this tile piece, I mean not tile piece, it's like side dish piece to close at the back, and it is an 8 stud shooter. So you take it, and you spin it like that, and you can see the peg there, where it pushes against the studs and launches them. To give you an idea how this works, we're going to take it, and we're just going to, yep, just like that. And that's 8 studs. We will do that from the sides now for you. Fortunately, I've got to kind of climb in here to achieve those studs. Bagger, bagger, bagger. I hope that didn't get in the way. And you just place them back in here. All 8. And now that same play feature, but from the side. And you can do it as fast or as slow as you want. Unfortunately, well, I mean, not unfortunately, luckily for me and unfortunately for you, I'm in a recording studio. Well, not a studio, just a photo boothing thing. So I don't have to risk losing studs, although I've actually managed to lose a stud, which is impressive. They disappear even when in an enclosed space. So there's the rescue run using stud shooters. That's one of the reasons why I don't like them. Honestly though, I don't mind the stud shooter here. I feel like it does take away a lot of the playable room in there. But I mean, just look at how smooth that folds up in there. However, there is another thing in there. Of course there is. There always is a daft little stupid build, which broke. And it's this thing. This dumb scooter. Before I get into that though, I do want to show you the dumb scooter does ramp up here. You can see why they included those. It goes pretty decently far back, and then this can still close in after it, and that's something I like. That even with that in there, there is enough room to slide in the gun. Oh, and I popped off the roof. And sliding out the way, you get a decent look at how snug that is in there. It's a pretty snug build, and you can just about see these right back there in black. And you do see what I mean though by that takes away some play feature. And just shoving that back in there, which, funny enough, with that removed, you can kind of do that, which, yeah, I guess you could do. You can do a bit more with the turret and posability when that's out of the way. Just going to quickly look at this for a minute, because it is a stupid little thing that God wished was not created. It's got 2 ball joints on the side. I have no idea why. The set doesn't even tell you, and on the box they show them there. I don't know why. Red light, tire, 2 stud shooters. You see that ricochet back at me? Do you see what I mean? This is why stud shooters are honestly useless as a play feature, because they will just vanish within a day. Here's the window, made in the same place as the back thing, at the front of the bumper, a weird seat. Only interesting thing is the tyres are purposely placed like this. So instead of having like the riveted side like that, on the front they choose to have the side like that. Suppose that's interesting, that's nice. Unfortunately what's not nice is if we take Clint Barton, because that's who the instructions say should go on there, and if you put him on, you gotta lift up these nice silver handles. Doing this off screen because it is a pain in the butt. You know how to do it on the screen. Sorry, my tripod has to be elevated a bit lower for this. There you go. Look at that. Look at the stupidity of that. Look how dumb of a life choice. This is like me and all my life choices. Dumb, stupid, and God doesn't know why they exist, but they happen to exist, so you gotta deal with it. This is a waste. You could have used these parts to quite easily have given us landing gear, extra studs on the vehicle, something like that. But you didn't. You gave us that. That's a mistake on your part, Lego. Now, moving back to the build, there was something I did forget. It's here. It's right here. It's a small little detail that just gets me. And it's a green 1x1 stud in there. And same there, but in red. And here, but in green. I mean red again. And here, but in green. Do you see it barely? It's just a nice little touch. Now, there is something interesting. And it's this bit here. This whole section here. You gotta take this bit here. I guess these are like lights or something. That makes it lift it up like that. And lift it up like that. And you get access to a pretty decent interior. But before I get there, look how that opened again. Normally, on a Lego set like this, that would be closed like that. Which, let's be honest, that looks stupid. But they don't. They let it drop down. For those of you who can't see, there is a stud on all there. Stops that there. Just like how those two triangle pieces stop that. And you just leave it like that. No stud connection. And that gives it such a nice look. Especially, it just like helps the symmetry of this build. But, popping open that interior again. Lifting this up and popping that down. Forward, like that. Yep, that'll do. You can see, it's a pretty decent interior. Actually, whilst we're here, I might as well show you how that... it's very hard to handle a stud shooter from the back when you're not looking. But, I think I've just got it. So, yep, there we go. With that out of the way, I can quickly show you how that dum-dum bike goes in there. You can see, it just rests there. I suppose that's decent enough, but it's been done on so many other sets. As the interior itself, yeah. Oh, you know, we'll take that off. We'll take that off. We'll go with it. It's pretty cozy. You do have a sticker on the wall there, which sort of shows like Avengers and a targeting system. There's a... oh, bugger. There's a fire extinguisher there, because fire is important. And we must put out fires when they show up, irregardless of how dangerous everything else is. The same stud is left unattended there. So, I mean, they missed a chance to put a coffee cup there, didn't they? And you've got the gauntlet with a stone and some stuff. Some statistics. That's fine, I guess. Here's something I love. And you guys know I love little things. And it's that. It's that there, because that... oh, how do I get that stuck? Bugger. What the hell? Okay. That was not supposed to happen. What I was about to show you is just a tiny little thing. And it's, if you take this and we put it in the cockpit, it goes straight through to the cockpit. Look, there's the back of Black Widow's chair. Do you see? Now, even though that is way too small of a space to even consider fitting a figure through, unless they're walking sideways and ducking, it is such a small little, just a little bit of world building, just not world building, but just a little bit of consistency that I like. Now, there are some Peggies here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pegs to be precise. You can't really see the 2 on the wall there. Starting with the 2 on the front. There. In my rigorous testing, I have found therefore Black Widow's Extrema sticks. So we're going to put one in there. You can see how that looks. It's pretty decent. And pop that one in there. That for any other weapon you want. This is just the order I put them in. Then Thor's ridiculous weapon there, and Rickett's gun there. It's rather ridiculous looking when you've got one of the walls of that, but it works. 2 more base seats and a lot of tiled interior. Those 2 seats are for the only 2 characters that can sit down. This terrible Clint Barton figure, which was a waste. And where did Chris Hemsworth go? I appear to have lost the 4 figure. No, I didn't. I left him on a stand. The 4 figure can sit there. But there is no seat for poor Rickett Raccoon. Now, I understand that you can't give him a seat. He literally can't sit down. However, the instructions do show you standing him up. Just here, like that. Which, yeah, that's decent. I'm glad it's a set that gives us enough seats for all our figures. And you can just, again, put that one there. There goes a light. Oh, bugger, there does go a light. Give me a sec to restand that up. And you can fit this front one in here. And everything goes back on. Yeah, pretty well. It does get kind of caught on Thor's hammer a bit back there. So be careful. And there. That's pretty much everything you need to know about the set. Now, what am I missing? Am I missing something? No, not really, no. I just want to conclude by saying I do like the way the set does just come together so nicely. Now let's conclude the video. So, final conclusion. Now this is often the bit where I would go figures, design and playability, and then do some few other things. So let's begin with figures. Now, the ugly grey men are great. I think they're not just accurate. Well, I'm not sure if they're accurate, but I think not only are they good figures and look good, but they're a good bad guy. Although it's a pity there is no like mini vehicle for them. That would have been nice. But the rest of the figures, nothing. So it gets a 1 out of 10 for figures. And I know that sounds really harsh, but Rocket's grey and has nothing interesting. Fine head, but nothing interesting. Inaccurate head, nothing interesting. Nothing interesting. That just reuses figures, and I don't like that. And so, 1 out of 10 for figures. Playability. This was difficult for me, but I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. And the reason why is you get the gun at the back, which can pop up and go pew 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 bang bang bang. You got 2 stud shooters here. You can roll these, you can move some things around. There's a crappy little buggy here with some stud shooters, and you got bad guys to fight. Now, there is a bit of imaginative play going on here, but I consider swooshability a decent enough thing to count as a play feature, so 7 out of 10. As for design, 9 out of 10. That's just how it's got to be. It has to be 9 out of 10, and the reason for that is simply not this. This is a horrible abomination and has cost the set 3 points. But the gun designs for the Chaka Mori, whatever the hell you want to call them, Rocket's gun, and more specifically the designs for the wings, all the paneling, and just all the intricacies of the set, give it a 7 out of 10 when it comes to design, giving it a total of 17 out of 30, which isn't too bad. Being honest, that's not too bad, especially for a Marvel set. However, do I recommend you buy this? That depends. Is it a good Christmas present for a child? 100%. A young child is going to love this set. They get that, and then they get something they can switch around, not easily going to break. They're not going to know anything about the figures. It's fine. I would get it for a child as a Christmas present. I mean, I got it for a Christmas present. So, you know. Would I recommend it for a teenager? Maybe. If they're into Marvel, then sure. Or if they're just into Lego, sure. If they're into aircraft, sure. But if they're into like movies and stuff and the accuracy, not really. But I guess the main point is it decent for AFOLs, adult collectors? Honestly, that depends. This set is very clearly based off the 2012, 14, 15-ish Lego Avengers quinjet. You know, the one with Black Widow, and I think it came with Hulk, and it was part of the Avengers, the first Avengers movie. If you have that set, then no, don't get this. This set is great, but it's got a lot of similarities with that set, and that set just has better figures overall, honestly. So I rank that set higher than this one. If you got that one, there's no need to get into one. If you haven't got a quinjet, this is probably the best quinjet. And I know I just said, you know, get the 2012 one because it's better. I think it's better when it comes to figures, but not necessarily the quinjet itself. And I do think this is just a better quinjet overall, just minus the figures and everything else in the set. But if you haven't got a quinjet yet, get this one. It's honestly worth it. And if you're a collector, like a Marvel collector, I wouldn't really get the set. I mean, these figures are good, and they don't come in any other sets, but you can get them off Bricklink. So the figures are nothing special. And I have no idea what the set's meant to be based off, because I was trying to find the concept art for this set. But I couldn't find any, so I have no idea where the set belongs. So yeah, overall, an amazing, pretty solid 7 out of 10 top-notch quinjet build with amazing intricacies and consistencies. Terrible minifigures with the exception of 2, and some awful, awful side builds. And maybe the turret to an extent. Will I modify this set? Yes, I'm going to add tyres, I'm going to remove the gun, I'm going to take out the seats, make it so it's more like wall seating, like lined wall seating, and then maybe fix up the back a bit. But other than that, you guys know who I am, JSbricks. I hope you have a very merry, well, it's not Christmas anymore, is it? So I hope you guys are looking forward to going back to school in January, or whatever the hell you're doing next year. Hopefully not another lockdown, although according to my sister, there will be a lockdown 10 and COVID 28. But she's a bit of a rocker. She's been inside too long. She's a footy girl. So all of that out of the way, I guess I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.